or I'm hitting it?
Oh, I did already.
What if I hit it at the same time? The grand opening, grand closing. What's up? Rob is back, folks. If you're joining us for the first time ever, then you're not going to know what we're talking about. But if you are a longtime viewer, listener, subscriber, Rob is back.
And shout outs off, man. Working on my tan. Working on the tan.
Working on his burn. I'm very concerned, Rob. I think you should put on a little bit more lotion. Or something.
I do. I moisturize like crazy to ensure that this tan does not flake, my friend. I wasn't here last week. You know what, man? I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. And I'm at a point, John, where I'm friends with people for like 20 plus years, which is crazy. It just shows how old you start to get. He was in town from San Francisco last week. He flew in Monday and he flew out Tuesday night. So a bunch of us got together for dinner. And during that dinner, so my friend Winston, he's rolling in with this guy that I haven't seen in a number of years. Now he's like, not one of our core guys. Just he's in our group, but I don't see him very often. Anyways, it's a mutual friend of ours because he says to me, he says, "Yo, I know John." And I'm like, "What?" And my friend Benny, and he's like, "Yeah, I know John through your wife, through Lisa." And he says, John said to me one day, "Hey, check out this podcast I do." So I fire it up one day and I'm watching. He's like, "What is that, Rob?" And I was like, I mean, how many white guys named Rob really are there? And it was me. And so it's just a small world, John, that I ran into that we ended up. Benny's like, "I'm not ordering anything. I'm bleeding out of here in a few minutes," which is a very weird expression. He ended up not bleeding. He cauterized the wound and stayed the entire evening, and we hung out and had a good time. So it was good seeing Benny. But yeah, small world when he told me that he knows you.
It has, it's been ridiculous. I think the one time I had our good buddy Tim hop on, unbeknownst to me, both Rob and Stu knew this guy. And I was like, "Oh, I'm bringing some new fresh blood. I'm bringing this guy on to check it out." And Rob's like, or I don't know if it was you or Stu that logged on because I didn't log on yet. And you're like, "Is that Tim?"
Yeah, like the guy that works down the office from me, like down the hall. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, 100% small world. You always kind of find these connections, especially if you're going to be running around in your hood and hanging out with friends from the past. So shout outs to Rob. I hope that was a fantastic time for you. You can't miss out on those opportunities in life that your friend is running in for such a short time. You got to make
he was here for a business meeting. He was here for a business meeting. And then the best part is if you're from Scarborough area, you would know that after we're old now, so we were at like 10 o'clock going, "Should we get going soon?" We ended up staying. I was out, John, till past midnight, which is like phenomenal. But our friend Benny and Winston, they decided to hit up Johnny's Hamburgers later into the evening. So
that's my jam. Yo, oh man, we used to be out at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and going, "What's open?" And I don't know why we were out at 3 a.m. But yeah, Johnny's really hit the spot. Yeah. So shout out to
Park and Shepherd
for still being there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go again at that late hour, but yeah.
You know us, Gord. Don't worry, Gord isn't nobody. We should start the show.
Yeah. Let's get it rolling. So that fine gentleman is over there is Rob, and I saw him for the second time this year, maybe this weekend. Is that
dude? It was so good seeing you.
This guy
here is John Ho.
Yeah.
I rolled into the store on Saturday afternoon. My son had a game of shinny, which is crazy because he's just picked up the sport of hockey literally 3 weeks ago. And I ran to the store. And I was like, said to my son, "Oh, we're going to hang out for a bit. I'm going to chat." And I was going to just essentially monopolize your time. Man, the store was like on fire. It was like being at Whiskey Saigon in the late 90s. People were jumping. It was crazy. And I was like, "All right, I guess we're not staying."
It kind of sucked. I actually had to do work. So that was a pleasure, Rob. I feel like we've approached the point. I don't know what episode this is, folks, but we've approached the point where I feel like we've hung out online far more than we've hung out in person. And you used to come in sometimes once or twice a week to hang out and grab stuff. So it's kind of weird, but that's the technology today. So we are thankful for that. Folks, if you are watching this on the replay, we are live every Monday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us for some laughs and some fun. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us. Today, what are we covering, Rob? We're talking about the day shift.
Boy, the day shift. Yeah, and you guys have had 2 weeks to be able to get this this movie in. I know Lewis is out tonight, and he's messaging me. His cousin's in town. He's out for dinner, and he goes, also, I didn't watch the movie. He had 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks to fit in 2 hours, but that's fine. But yeah, we're covering the day shift, a made for Netflix movie.
Yeah, but before we get to that, I want to know, how was your weekend? I know there was a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Fan Expo was in full effect. Unfortunately, we weren't doing the show, but I did get to talk to a couple people that attended. Rob, I believe you checked it out.
I did. I went down Friday. I went down Friday morning. I told my son, we are leaving catching the 7:53 train out of Ajax. He's like, in the morning? And I was like, yes.
No, the evening, the night before. We're going to sleep on the sidewalk outside.
Evening parties. I'm going to tell you what raves are like. So we were there. Man, it was good to. I haven't been there since, I think it was 2019, or maybe even 18 was my last year there. I think I might have taken 2019 off. Anyways, it was good to be back. I will say this. Fan Expo was definitely, it's not back to where it was pre-pandemic, my opinion. There's not as many vendors. It started to get a lot busier on the Friday afternoon as we were bouncing out around 2:30 or so. But dude, there was mad, crazy, like the anime. Anime it was a huge thing. I don't know. I guess over the course of the pandemic, it seems to have overtaken pop culture. But everywhere you looked, there are people with like swords walking on their, like, the big anime swords on their shoulders, and they're walking like this. And I'm behind trying to avoid getting smashed in the face with some dude just walking around with a sword hanging on his shoulder. So it was really good to be back. I want to say a big shout out to our friend, Jim Zup, who I went and saw at the table, and we picked up at Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons, his graphic novel that he did, and he signed it. He addressed it and signed it to Noah. So to my son, Noah, roll for initiative. It's time for adventure. So I want to say a big thanks to Jim. It was really good seeing him, and I told him we were just speaking about him a couple weeks ago. You, myself, and Stu. So I wanted to get him back on the show. So he said he was down for that.
Yeah, he was an extremely good sport on our D&D episode. If you haven't checked it out, it's a little bit long, but it's a lot of fun. He was a really good sport, and we were kind of poking fun at him.
Celebrity Dungeons and Dragons, and this guy knows nothing about D&D.
Yeah. So we gravitated towards that. Folks, so if you got up to anything else this weekend, let us know in the comments. If you watched any of the new drops that came out, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Rob, I'll start off because I'm sure you got a lot of stuff done. But if you didn't check out the latest Heroes World podcast, we did cover House of Dragon, or is it House of the Dragon?
House of the Dragon.
Or is it Enter the Dragon? I think it's House of the Dragon. Yeah, House of the Dragon. Yeah. So episode 2 did air last night. Rob, did you watch it?
I did. Yeah. I did watch it. I liked it much more than episode 1.
Yeah. So I actually watched this right away as soon as I was available to watch it. So I think I'm in on this Game of Thrones hype train. So if you guys are also watching each night, let us know so we can maybe talk a little bit about it. But there's some questionable things happening in this episode that I'm a little concerned about. But I guess that's what goes down in medieval times. I did see the book for this on sale, Rob. I think Indigo's got like a buy 2 for $20, and it had the Song of Fire, whatever the hell this book is
Song
called.
of Fire and Ice.
Yeah. But there's one for this particular show, and then you can get the Gray Man. So you can get the Gray Man in this show for like $20 at Chapters Indigo. So shout outs to that. I'm going to mention another show that I grabbed a picture for, She-Hulk.
Oh yeah.
I think most of us did watch She-Hulk episode 2. So if you guys are enjoying that show, it's a lot of fun. I understand some of the criticisms for it. Some people are just hating on it because the sake of hating it, but I think it's cool that it's coming out and it's nice and short. And then I did watch a documentary, Rob. I don't know if you're watching this Untold series.
I haven't seen this series yet. No.
Yeah. So there's a lot of documentaries coming out. It's crazy. And this is the Untold line, and this is about the girlfriend who didn't exist, which is about this football player, Matteo. I forgot what his last name is, who got essentially catfished before catfishing was a term. And it just uprooted his entire career. So if you haven't watched some of these, one of the other ones, Rob, I don't know if you remember a company called And One. It's about the rise and fall of And One, which if you guys don't remember, they were basketball kind of mixtapes before the era of YouTube, and then they turned into a whole brand and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna have to definitely catch that one. But Rob, let me hear what you got up to.
Yeah, so actually, you know what? So aside from like the She-Hulk, the House of the Dragon, I've been watching Sandman. I only have like an episode left. I gotta tell you, I love this show. It's taken me a long time to get through it by purpose, by design. I watch an episode every few days. I feel like
digest
I need time. What's that? Exactly.
Digest it.
Yeah, you can get it all into my system. So I'm really, really hyped on the Sandman right now. But because I've been on vacation the last couple of weeks, John, I do what I normally do, which is I try to read a bunch. Man, I've talked about this author before, Blake Crouch. He has a new book called Upgrade. I crushed this in 2 days. I sat by the pool, I drank, and I read Upgrade. So I would highly recommend that. We talked about how I
speed read, Rob, or no, it's just regular reading?
It was actually really good. I just I flew through half of it the first day, and then I finished it off yesterday. So
okay.
We talked about at the beginning how I came in and I went and saw you at the store, and I gotta say, man, it was so good seeing you in person, man. I got to give you a bro hug. I think you might have nibbled my ear, but that's fine.
Pull some Mike Tyson. Folks, if you can't tell, if you look at Rob now and you go back to some of our old videos, this guy is getting skinny as a motherfucker. So I'm really impressed that you're sticking to your diet and your training. So
thanks, man.
Almost unrecognizable at some point.
The store looks sick. I gotta say, you and Andre have done a really good job. But big shout out to you because I picked up, or I guess this omnibus, this Justice League 52 Volume 2. With our boy Jason Fabok on the cover here. I gotta tell you, I love this. I'm super excited to dig in. I just finished the Volume 1. So, but for me, John, the biggest news, buddy, the biggest news is last Wednesday. I was sitting up by the pool, and I had my Twitter alerts on.
Yeah.
And I got 2 alerts, bang, back to back, and I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?"
Taylor Swift album.
No, bro, no.
New Taylor Swift album was announced during the VMAs, folks, and Rob's pretending it wasn't the Taylor Swift tweet.
No. It was Walmart had restocked PlayStation 5s, and then GameStop restocked PlayStation 5s, and then Best Buy restocked PlayStation 5s. And bro, I got myself a PlayStation 5. I picked it up, and because I did, I was super stoked. And then I went out and I picked up Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, nice.
So I hear this game is fantastic. I'm super, super stoked to plug it in and fire it away. But before I do that, John, tomorrow, the 30th of August, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection drops like 16 games or something stupid like that. And I got it on pre-order. I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. So
that's kind of like a redux of all the classic games, kind of, or a collection of all the classic.
It's a collection of all those classic games.
Okay. How much time are you going to spend with the original Nintendo TMNT?
Probably a fair amount until I'm going to play Ghost of Tsushima instead.
That game was impossible. So I think once you get to the swimming stage where the coral pops up and if you touch it, you straight up die.
Yeah. But that was, I said, it was really good seeing you. I can't underline enough. If you guys haven't been to the store recently, you got to go. It looks amazing. I love the layout. You guys have redone it again with all the statues. I said to my son, you have a couple of things I was going to pull a trigger on. And he's like, you can't get that. You just bought a PlayStation. Mommy will kill you. So
what a level-headed kid.
Next time I got to go without him.
Who raised this kid?
Yeah. But man, you guys, you should be proud, man. And again, that place was just thumping. I couldn't get over how busy it was. So good for you.
It was an odd moment where just everyone decided to come in at once. And shout outs to Andre, who's been putting in a lot of work kind of rearranging and reduxing everything. He's at the store a lot more than me, so he's been tinkering around with all our layouts and stuff like that.
Now, a quick question. I see that Scott, our friend Scott Graziano, is asking me what the gutter loss is going to be like on that Justice League. I'm going to tell you, dude, none. Don't forget, you got to stretch out that spine. You get these omnibuses, you stretch that spine out. But I took a look, and there's very minimal to no gutter loss. It's a pretty decent binding by DC. In fact, I haven't taken a look, but very quickly, I believe that this one was printed in Canada. It is. This is the one printed in Montreal. A lot of the DC books are printed in Canada, out of Montreal, so it's good binding.
Yeah, you fantastic nerd. Let's dive into the comments a little bit. So Gord shuts out. What the f? She's
we're not going to talk about that.
This
that
is in reference to
TV
something
show that we're not talking about.
And that is what. Yeah, it's very disturbing. So Sarah says she's liking She-Hulk, which is awesome. You know, strong female characters. We need a lot of them in there. And if you're looking for a strong female character, look no further than Sarah. So
that's right.
Great to see a She-Hulk show that you can enjoy as well. Yeah. She-Hulk. Yeah. So Scott's liking She-Hulk as well. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun book. So I don't know. Let's see. 60. Yeah. Gordon's still on this House of Dragons. So we're going to leave that. Shout out to, I think Eric Kirby dropped a comment earlier about Law Abiding Citizen. Have you watched this movie before?
Yeah, it was way back in the day. It was like from like the mid 2000s, I think. Yeah, I saw. I remember it was decent, man.
So I feel like I haven't watched it. So I think I'm gonna have to go. I'll go look that up, Eric, and get back to you. Sarah also said she finished Paper Girls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention the Sylvester Stallone Amazon show, Samaritan, dropped. Rob, I don't know if you gave it a try. I haven't watched it
yet. It's on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it from what I watched. But Sarah said she liked it later on in a comment. So I'll have to maybe give it a little bit more than just So she said she enjoyed it. I only watched the first little bit. I did read some not so nice things on the internet, but the internet is the internet. So shout outs to that. Scott says he cracked open his Moon Knight omnibus. Shout outs to Moon Knight fans who are diving into it from the either the TV show or just the fact that it got a new reprint. So let's see. Eric's asking why you didn't get the Miles Morales Spider-Man game for your PS5.
Because good question, Eric. My son has it for his PS5.
So alert is that this is the second PS5 in Rob's household. So he might be trying to play it off like, I'm just got my first PS5, but this is actually his second purchase of a PS5. So,
but he bought his own. He's had his own for a year before I've had mine. So
he got that pre-order in before you. Gordon says he watched that new Tekken anime. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've been playing the game for decades, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But good to know. I think I've started to watch the first episode, and I'll have to go back and do it. Gord says he really misses that game. Get into it. Tekken 6 is still available on the cheap, so it's a lot of fun. Shout outs to that. Any other things we should cover from this week that happened, Rob?
No, I will say though, John, I went and I re-upped. I got 4 new T-shirts at Fan Expo.
You got the super shirt rack was there?
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you bought 3, you get a mystery T-shirt. My son, it was in a box, and he picked the box, and I got to wear it. Tomorrow I'm having as a family lunch for one of my wife's aunts turning 70. I got to wear this shirt tomorrow. It's as purple can get. T-shirt with a Ghostbusters logo. However, I will say this, John. I was like, I need to get a new Green Lantern shirt, which you see me sporting here. From this angle, it looks great. Here, let me roll back and you can see what the hell are these things?
Those are vents. I believe this is the Kyle Ragnar version, I guess.
I didn't realize when I don't like these things. It makes
yeah, that's kind of a shame. So you saw it just folded up. Nothing beats the basic superhero tee, which is basically just an icon or the character's logo,
symbol,
and then that's it. And you can have it in various colors. That seems to be the go-to. I don't know why you muck around with that formula, but hey, maybe
I should have unfurled it and taken a look at it. Whatever, man.
Yeah. Maybe you gotta cut those out. Maybe those are air vents.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Scott says you brought the deep T-shirt instead by accident.
Yeah.
Oh man!
I look like I'm wearing a costume that just doesn't fit.
Yeah, you can do that trick, like kind of pin it from the back. Maybe you need to tighten it up a little bit, Rob. The shirt needs to be tighter. You bought a size too big. You're buying your old size still. You need to go down one.
You're very kind.
Yeah. So Stillwater. Eric Kirby asked about Stillwater, which is the Chip Zdarsky book, I believe, where you go in. There's a town where people are seemingly not aging and not being able to die. So it's really cool book. a lot of people have been buying it in trade paperback because now it's a couple volumes in. So I do recommend it. I haven't read the entire run though, but Chip Zdarsky, you can't go wrong. I really love his Daredevil run. So let's kick it over. Run. Yeah. He's taken over Batman in it as of 126, I believe.
125
or 125. Yeah, one of the big numbered issues. And people are buying it up. So I guess maybe they didn't like the previous run, or they just like to jump onto something new. And we've got a bunch of new people for the summer. So check that out if you haven't. And it will be coming out in trade eventually. So let's kick it over to Rob for the news. Late breaking news in the pop culture geek world. So Rob, what do you got for us?
Oh, hey, John, I know that you love news involving DC projects. We're going to kick it off tonight.
What's canceled now?
The good news, bad news DC story, although there are more of the latter than the former of late. The bad news is that Warner Brothers Discovery have now delayed Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 for a second time. That's 3 2-2-2s. Originally scheduled to drop on December the 21st, Shazam is now going to hit theaters on March 17th. That date was originally set for Aquaman, which will now move to December 25th of 2023. There's lots of rumors as to why the move. Now, some say Avatar 2, which is coming out December the 16th of this year, that they had booked all the IMAX screens, and therefore,
damn you, James Cameron.
Right, Shazam couldn't eke out an IMAX screen, but the truth appears to be more, I guess you could say, boring, John. Essentially, Warner Brothers Discovery need to save money, and they don't want to spend the cash right now on marketing of these movies.
This is where we're going to start pinching the pennies at this point. This stage of the game is when these are ready to go. We're gonna pull back a little bit.
Yeah, so David Sandberg, who is the director of Shazam 2, he's like, this is like practically done. I'm done. This movie is ready to come out. So off it goes to March. James Wan, who is the director of Aquaman 2, is like, I'm happy because I got a lot more shit to do in FX, and I don't know if I was going to get it in time. So whatever, man. And they're also blaming COVID delays with the FX houses. So it is what it is. It's been moved.
Thoughts on Aquaman 1, Rob? Did you have fun with that movie?
I just rewatched it. I just a couple weeks ago. I feel like it gets a bit better each time I watch it. I still feel like it's pretty long. I think it's one of those movies that if you put on, you watch half of it one day, another half a couple of days later, you're probably really going to enjoy it. Yeah, it's okay. I will say there are some weak moments in the movie and some actors or actresses, and I'm just like, I would be fine without them. So,
do you want an edit?
Yeah, or just a recasting. That'd be better. But the good news regarding WB, John, is that they have signed an exclusive first look deal with the Batman director Matt Reeves. This pretty much confirms that a sequel to this year's blockbuster will be greenlit, because it was looking, John, a bit dicey a couple weeks ago, because they originally announced the Batman 2, and then all of a sudden the Discovery merger was finalized, and then they were like, we're putting a pause on everything, and we're going to throw this movie out and cancel this one, everything else. So we weren't too sure. However, with this new signing of Matt Reeves, this movie, Batman 2, is a go, as well as the HBO Max Penguin TV show. It's definitely not easy being a DC fan these days. So essentially, we're going to take any little smidgen of a win that we can possibly muster up, John. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I am going to go back and watch that Batman movie in the next week or so.
I was going to ask, have you watched it recently, or are you holding off till October? October's right around the corner, and I'm pretty sure you stated that this would have been the perfect Halloweenish timing movie. So I feel like I'm going to try and hold off until October to rewatch this.
I've watched it a couple of times since I purchased it, but I will probably, to your point, maybe I'll wait till the late into the fall until October and turn those lights down and really get that set.
Because we've kind of got the summer, the sun going on, and we've actually been pretty lucky. We haven't had a ton of rain, I would say. So I feel like the mood now is summer fun. So I don't know if the Batman qualifies for summer.
No, but you know what does? Dune.
Dune. Because the beaches? Dune is filmed on the beaches, right?
I love that sand. I love that, Scott Graziano. All right. Hey, John, remember how I said I had one good news, bad news story involving DC? I lied. So we've been talking for the better part of a year or so, year and a half, about the antics of Flash star Ezra Miller. Last week, it looks like they had a meeting with the two movie executives at Warner Brothers, Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, along with their agent. Now, Miller has chosen the they-them pronouns, just so why I'm saying it that way, to discuss the future of the Flash. Now, the specifics of the meeting have not leaked out. Miller did issue a press release before the meeting acknowledging their behavior of late and that they are committed to seeking treatment. But supposedly Miller didn't really care about the negative attention, the police focus on them. It wasn't until the rumors and threats that Warner Brothers might actually just shelve the Flash movie completely that caused Miller to reconsider their actions and meet with the Warner Brothers brass. Apparently, they are very big fans of this character, and the last thing they would want is the movie to be killed off. So we'll see what happens in the next 8 to 10 months. This movie is coming out July of 2023, unless Warner's doesn't have enough money to promote it. But maybe if Miller seeks the treatment they need, we'll actually get to see this movie. I'm not really too sure.
What you want is the truth to come out. There's always two sides of the story. So maybe some of the things that were said about them were all over the place after watching that whole untold story. The news outlet definitely took a slant to a particular side. So coming out and owning up to if you have done something wrong is definitely good step forward. Rob, did you see the other rumor though that test screenings for the Flash were as high as, say, The Dark Knight? Do you believe this, or do you think this is just some sensationalist?
No, I've been hearing that this thing was scoring really, really high in the test screenings that they've been doing, like absurdly high. And then somebody said the recent test screenings that it had scored really as high as The Dark Knight. So this does not surprise me. This is not like a one-off thing. We've been hearing about these test screenings for the last 4 or 5 months, and they're still not even done on production on this movie. There's still a lot of CGI and everything else to finish. So the fact that they're scoring this high, I think bodes well. I think this also bolsters Warner Brothers' discovery of wanting to push this movie out. So I think we are going to see it. At the end of the day, unless something drastic happens, we will see this movie. But yeah, it gets me excited. I'm also ready to move on from Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Yep.
And also, let me just say this right now. I'm going to put this out there. I don't care the hate I get. Stop coming at me or making comments online or on Twitter about Grant Gustin. They're not going to CGI him into the role. Grant Gustin has played a great Flash, not my Barry Allen, but a great Flash of the last 8 years. But he's done. He's moving on. Let's stop with the silliness. They're not putting him in the Flash role to take over from Ezra Miller. All right.
I'll keep this clip in case some breaking news happens later this week.
A couple of quick hits here. Netflix has announced that the Umbrella Academy has been renewed for their 4th and final season. And just as the ink was drying on that agreement, Netflix went and canceled the Resident Evil series that launched.
I wasn't sure if you were going to cover that, and I was going to put it in no shit this happened news. Resident Evil canceled, and Umbrella Academy renewed for a 4th.
I got to figure out what was quicker cancellation: Jupiter Legacy or
I think 100% is Jupiter's Legacy, because I don't know if anyone's run like Facebook ads or whatever ads, but there's basically a time limit. Like you set it for like whatever weeks. The Resident Evil ad campaign is still going, so when you fire up your PlayStation or whatever, you get a big ad for Resident Evil still. It'd be funny if they just added canceled. So watch it. They should actually announce that it's being removed and then get more people to watch it and see if they can sell it to another network. But yeah, unfortunate for those people that worked on the show. It's never fun to have your project fall apart. But yeah, hopefully they'll move on to bigger, better things. Fraser, that's right. Yeah, what a shocker news segment. That's what we should have.
Water is wet. Today it was announced that the made-for-Netflix movie Beverly Hills Cop 4, has added Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is John's favorite actor to say. His name and Taylor Page.
Favorite actor to pronounce. And who?
Yeah, and Taylor Page to the cast. The movie starts shooting in the next few days, some 30 years after the events of Beverly Hills Cop 3, which is a piece of shit movie. The title of this 4th movie, John, do you want to take a guess at what the 4th movie is going to be called?
I feel like these didn't have titles. Is it called Beverly Hills like Foley or something? Is it going to be like a Top Gun kind of play?
It's called Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley.
Okay. I think it would have been funnier if they figured out a way to type dun, 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 and that should have been the title.
Well, that was called Axel F. That was
that's what I'm saying. If it was called Beverly Hills Cop, dun, 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 dun,
Axel
dun.
F. Right. And finally, John, there have been a lot of rumors hitting the net the last few days about Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. It appears as though WandaVision showrunner and director Matt Shakman has landed a coveted directing gig. The movie, which kicks off the 6th phase of the MCU, is supposed to drop on November the 8th, 2024. And of course, you don't get the directing rumors without casting rumors. Now, supposedly the casting for Reed Richards has some pretty intense names floating around. We're not going to see this dude. John Krasinski is not coming back. And we're not going to speculate tonight, John, as to
Are you upset if this guy doesn't get... I know a lot of people
I'm
on
good.
the internet. I feel like I want to see someone new, maybe younger, or I want to see a fresh face, because a lot of the people in the MCU stuff that we're really liking now, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, feature Moon Knight, featured fresh new faces. So, 100%.
Yeah, so we're not going to speculate as to who may be cast because I've seen about 37 different names. But from what I can determine based on some of these amazing Hollywood scoopers, it's down to 3 actors. Okay. And with D23 only a handful of days away, John, we may get a casting announcement. And that, John... Oh, wait. Hey, John. You know how I said that story about Fantastic Four was my last story?
Yeah.
Well, here's something for us to speculate, my friend. And it is unrelated to the FF casting. Let me just say that. Supposedly, Marvel is open to casting one Mr. Henry Cavill in a major role. And supposedly, John, they've spoken to him once or twice already.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I would want him to play a Mr. Fantastic, but I would definitely like him in stuff. Like that'd be great to have him in the MCU, right?
Would you like him as Wolverine, John?
That would be interesting casting. Completely wrong in the height category for Wolverine, but they've already done that with Hugh Jackman. Who's taller, Henry Cavill or Hugh Jackman?
Cavill is, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a giant. But get him in a movie. Get him in a movie. Especially scoop him up because DC is being so stupid. And not getting anything rolling for Superman. Like how DC should be punished 100% for not capitalizing on this casting for Superman. Like, I don't know who has ever debated that Henry Cavill is not a good choice to play Superman, and they don't like seeing him in the Superman suit. So DC, y'all are fools, and you should be punished for it. So I 100% want to see him over at Marvel.
I love it. This is a game called Comments Taken Out of Context. Sarah says, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is on my list. Fraser, what a shocker.
No, you can't start moving things around. Sarah, if Sarah shouts out that she's been a big fan since Third Rock from the Sun. I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Brick, which is a really fun movie starring Jordan Joseph-Levitt. Joseph is in his name, right?
Gordon-Levitt. And here, now we're in our segment, John says names.
I can't, and it's Gordon, right? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways.
So your story is done. All right.
The Brick. Yeah, that's it. Watch
that was
Brick.
The news.
It's a fun movie. So yeah.
Apparently Scott's not happy about Sarah's list because Scott is now saying he loves her. Wow.
You can't mess around with people's order of the comments. It's fake news, Rob. Fake news. All right. All right. So that concludes our news segment. Thanks for everybody. Oh, sorry. You hit the button too. I didn't even know you had access to that menu. Yeah, I don't know where it goes. Maybe is that from Ghostbusters at least?
Nope.
Oh my God. All right. So, thank you everybody for sticking.
Mature yourself up a little bit. Jesus.
Mature yourself up a little bit. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Do people say that to each other? Mature yourself up.
Mature yourself up a bit, man.
Is that going on a t-shirt?
Hey, I have vents on my t-shirt.
You should 100% cut them out for next show, and install actual vents that kind of suck in air, because everything's about.
Oh, it's now I got to get I got to find vents and wires and battery packs.
You got to commit. It's on there. It's on the shirt. Those are directions. That's not a design. Those are directions on what you must do to achieve the next level of shirtness. Which, I don't know. Yeah, Gozer. Yeah. See, Gord's got me. Thanks, Gord. Or Gozer.
Sarah says, "Woo!" It reminds me, on Disney Plus. I've talked about this before. They have those 30 for 30 documentaries. They had one on Ric Flair, John.
I saw it pop up. I was gonna fire it up, but I knew my wife was gonna look at me and go, "Who's this guy?"
Wow. Anyways, it was really cool. Okay.
Yeah. I love Ric Flair. I feel like I very much underappreciated him when I was growing up in my younger days, and I would way more enjoy that character now. So yeah. Mad Men. Yeah, I do have to watch Mad Men. All right, Rob. Let's jump on. We're finished the news. That was a great job putting all that together, Rob. I know you were busy today, having fun in the sun. But let's go over and talk about our new the movie that we've decided to watch. So hopefully y'all got a chance to watch it, and we'll be able to talk about it. And we're also going to incorporate in maybe our favorite monster hunting movies, or at least discussion for it. So Netflix, Rob, we've had some bangers recently. Gray Man, The Adam Project. Some of these movies are definitely leveling up. Some of them not so much. So what? Day Shift, do you have a breakdown, or is there anything to break down for streaming movies?
I got a breakdown. All right. Day Shift, directed by J.J. Perry, which is his directorial debut, by the way. Day Shift has reported $100 million budget, John, and brought in just $0 at the box office.
It did not get a box office run.
This is made for Netflix movie. Starring Jamie Foxx, Dave Franco, Snoop Dogg, and Peter Stormare. The movie is about vampire hunting in the mean yet very well manicured streets of LA. While this is J.J. Perry's first movie, he has been in a number of movies as a stuntman, stunt, and fight coordinator. And John, you're gonna love this. He got his start as the stunt double of the Johnny Cage in the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Whoa, he was stunt double for Lyndon Ashby.
Yeah, that's right. The movie is written by Shay Hatton, who wrote John Wick 3.
Sounds made up. Shay Hatton?
He Hayton.
Rob Hayton?
Yeah. He also wrote Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves, and the upcoming Zack Snyder movie Rebel Moon. Now, it's no coincidence that the writer and director got together. They are part of this new emerging group of creators born out of the John Wick universe that was started by David Leitch and Chad Stahelski. We've discussed this a couple weeks ago, John, when we reviewed Bullet Train with Stu, which, by the way, was directed by Leitch under the 87 North and 8711 Productions banner. So along with Bullet Train, the movie Nobody and Day Shift are all 87 North Productions. According to Rotten Tomatoes, Day Shift has critics calling it rotten with 57% rating, but audiences have enjoyed it just a tad better at 65%. Now, John, the craziest thing I read about this movie comes from Wikipedia, and this is a cautionary tale. I'm talking to everybody here now. This is a cautionary tale to all of you out there that thinking everything you read is the truth. Listen to me right now, and I'm going to tell you why. Because per the first paragraph on Wikipedia, Day Shift is, and I quote, a 2022 Leprechaun movie directed by J.J. Perry. Huh? You hear that? Leprechaun. It goes on to say, unlike other Leprechaun films, Day Shift was released on August 12th, 2022 by Netflix. The film received mixed reviews from critics, negative reviews primarily coming from critics who hate leprechauns and Irish people.
What the? Who did this?
If you go ahead and look at Day Shift, you will see that somebody has added that into the first paragraph. So kids, don't eat everything you read. You got to double check your shit. At any rate, my question, John, are you rocking the evening nightlife or are you punching in for the day shift?
Oh, wow. Look at Rob. with the guns and the zingers. Great job, Rob. So Day Shift, how do we rank it among our monster movies? We're talking things like Blade, Underworld, Supernatural, I feel like falls into this category. I guess it's a TV show, though. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, Zombieland. Like, what else really fits in this category? Tons and tons of
Monster Hunters from like the 80s. The Monster Squad.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to classify this as. I feel like it did fall more in the vampire genre. So if you guys didn't watch it and you want to avoid spoilers, um, I don't know if there's anything to really spoil per se.
There's nothing to spoil, really.
Yeah. So I guess we should talk. How should we start chopping this up and dissecting this, Rob? Should we talk about our overall
let's sink our
thoughts?
teeth into it, John.
Yeah. Look at this guy with the puns. This guy.
I'll take a first bite at it.
This guy. He's on fire. He's on fire. He takes a week off and he's on fire.
I'm renewed, a good energy going. I gotta say, John, I was pleasantly surprised at this movie.
Okay.
Admittedly, I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
I started watching it at 8:15 in the morning.
Well, it is called the day shift, so
that's right. I got back from the gym. My wife went to work for a few hours. The kids were sleeping in, and so I threw it on. I laughed at this movie, purposely so, not because it was a shit movie, because like some of the jokes were really funny. I actually quite enjoyed this, way more than I was expecting to. I thought that the action scenes were phenomenal. Like I thought that opening action scene was great, and so I would recommend, like, listen, guys, girls, this is not an Oscar-winning movie. This is not like, you're not checking out something that you're gonna. This is not Dune, all right? But man, it is a hell of a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. John, what did you think?
Okay, so overall, this movie, it's one of those things that falls under. It starts off really hot, like it comes in, and I was really, really digging it. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be my new favorite monster hunting movie. And then at the end, they kind of wrap things up a little quickly, and it kind of goes off in this different direction. So at the beginning, you can really see that they're universe or world building, a la John Wick or some type of other thing where they're kind of setting up this what did they call it, like the
union
and all this kind of stuff, and then they have the shout outs to Frank, it's not James Franco, right? It's Dave Franco. I don't know how many Francos there are. But yeah, Gord says he was really good. Yeah, he starts off as a particular type of character, and then all of a sudden he like flips into this other character after things happen. So I don't know. I really like Jamie Foxx, and I feel like during the first half he was really acting as this down and out dude, which it's a little loose at the beginning. You're like, how is he able to pull this off and trick his wife and raise his daughter and all that kind of stuff? And then he just starts acting like Jamie Foxx towards like I want to say the midway point. So the potential's there. So my only issue with this, Rob, is if there is nothing after this, then I say I would only watch it for the action sequences. And you can fast forward through some of the story elements. Like the bad guy is very shoddily put together, I feel. But overall, it's a Netflix movie. I always say keep it simple. So they tried to get things a little more complicated than they should have been. So if they dialed it back a little bit, I think this really could have worked.
See, I think it's dialed as far down as one could go. Like I saw in the comments, Scott's like they're hitting every vampire trope in the first 2 minutes. But it was never taking itself seriously. It's very much like Zombieland in that regard. Like this is like a fun, like we reviewed Project Power 2 years ago with Jamie Foxx. I'd watch this over Project Power again.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This beats Project Power. It does beat a lot of the other Netflix movies. And as far as establishing a world. So I think if more things come of this, like in particular, Scott Adkins, and I forgot who the other actor was who played the Nazarian brothers. If they get a spinoff, which is what a lot of people are asking for online, that's 100% what should happen or what should come of this, right? But like you said, those action sequences are really, I think, well done. They're really creative. Like you got everything in this. You got gunfights, you got martial arts, you got dudes with knives in their boots that you haven't seen since probably Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, I think it was also in The Dark Knight. The Joker did have the knife in his boot, but yeah.
Oh yeah, but he didn't do spin kicks with it. Yeah, so let's talk about so Rob, so you were a little bit more of a fan of this movie. I'm not trying to say it's awful piece of crap. You know what I mean? But I'm saying the potential was there for it to be something better. And I do like the first half of it a lot better than the second half. Do you have a favorite scene? Is it the the hive scene, which Scott says is probably his favorite moment from it, where they kind of go wild. We got Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco kind of bumbling. Franco's kind of bumbling around, and then we have the two Nazarian brothers with Scott Adkins just doing his best. Scott Adkins, that guy kills it. I don't understand why this guy cannot make it as an A-lister, but man, he destroys the B-lister territory.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I agree. Like, I think like that first 2 minutes, like, well, the opening scene, maybe it's 5 minutes out of the gate, I was like, wow, they are laying their shit on the table, and like they're saying this is it. This movie is intense. In terms of its action, like the back, them bending, like I've never seen a vampire movie like that.
Yeah, the contortionist. Like,
yeah, right. And it came back as well. So in that scene, in the house scene, the contortionists were freaking out. Dave Franco, the girl coming out, it was like watching The Ring. She's coming out of the chimney, and he's like freaking out. Because his contortionist is there. That whole entire scene, I think, from top to bottom, was absolutely phenomenal. It reminded me of John Wick a little bit. It was a closed, quartered fight scenes. There's guns involved. There's gun fu, right? Which was very much taken from the first John Wick movie.
Yeah, there's fancy reloading. They're like throwing bullets from one gun into another gun.
It, right? Yeah. Like, listen, man, this is not reality, right? Like, it is so. It's so fantastical. In its presentation and its execution, no pun intended there. Yeah. But shit, man, it was a hell of a lot of fun. Like, it was a great August summer movie to sit back and watch. And dude, I really enjoyed. Like, listen, we went and saw Bullet Train in the theater. We saw The Gray Man at home. I would have seen The Gray Man in the theater. I think this one was a hell of a lot of fun. It was just, sometimes you need these fun movies to get you through the dog days of summer, right? So.
Yeah. I just wish the last portion, basically the point where his wife gets held hostage.
Sure, the wife and kid are held hostage in the.
Yeah. That part onwards got really like not as strong to me. And then
it reminded me of Blade. Yeah. It reminded me of Blade with Deacon Frost. Like, they're in that tomb stuff, and they're even though like the blood god did, but it was very stereotypical. Okay, we're in this tomb of Dracula type thing, and all this.
Maybe because I wanted more of the everyday life of this, like the vampire hunting. Yeah, and I just didn't like the turn when the Franco character gets turned. All of a sudden, he becomes like a parkour, like
that was I agree. That third act was pretty weak when it comes to that. Yeah,
it's like they switched the character too much. He should have either been maybe the eager rookie at the beginning trying to get into the mix, or they should have stuck with that the by the books guy. And then at the end, maybe he's able to pull off some things because he's got the vampire powers. But what do you think of just overall in your monster hunting vocabulary? Are you going to watch any of the Twilight movies before you watch this?
No, that were quite humorously referenced in this movie as well. So where do I rank it with, like, listen, I actually think Blade 2 is I really like Blade 1, but I am a big fan of Blade 2. Blade 3 I couldn't give a shit about. Yeah, man, I'd watch this again for sure. You know what? I might even watch this around, the Halloween time again, man. Like, I just thought it was a hell of a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it looks nice. I think it's just the potential. I'll probably watch the first 75% of it. Again, for sure.
So how do you bail out if you've watched 75% of the movie? How do you just say?
So I think Fraser mentioned the Snoop Dogg cameo. How do you feel about the Snoop Dogg cameo? I love Snoop Dogg. He's a really funny dude. But when you start putting him into a movie, he will take you out of that movie because he's such a big personality. Were you okay with him?
Yeah, I actually thought that the first cameo that his first introduction, I figured that was it. And then he appears towards the end with that massive Gatling gun. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. It's limited. He's holding a gun. He's fucking blowing everybody away. And it's cool. We're done. And then all of a sudden, it's not him. But doing all these spinning back kicks.
He does do like some type of aerial kick, which and I was like, it's funny as a joke, but I feel like it's not believable in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really. Yeah, so you're right. It kind of takes you out a little bit from the movie. I actually felt that Jamie Foxx he changed his acting style when he was with Snoop Dogg in that end. Like it just was different. It's almost like he was phoning it in. Yeah. So that kind of goes towards your point about like that first 3 quarters is pretty like that. The first 2 acts are pretty solid. The third act, it kind of flips around and
he's Jamie Foxx. Like he's really talented. I know some people don't like him, but he's a multi-talented performer doing all kinds of things. But yeah, at the beginning, I feel like he was definitely acting and trying his best to be a character, and then he kind of starts turning into Jamie Foxx, which is fine. A lot of actresses play themselves. Like The Rock plays basically like a larger than life version of himself. So Jamie Foxx could 100% do it. I just felt like you showed us like that he was a different character, and all of a sudden he changes. The Snoop Dogg, I liked his look, and the idea of him being that kind of like a badass that shows up and saves the day. But I would not watch a spin-off movie of just him.
No,
or
I have zero interest.
Yeah, if he was main cast and he was in it from the beginning with Jamie Foxx, I don't think I would have enjoyed this movie as much either. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Dave Franco really helped move the pace of this movie along. Like, I thought I was killing myself laughing at his delivery of shit, right? Like, we've seen him in a lot of different movies, but man, there's something about Dave Franco that just, if you remember him from, was it Neighbors, right? The Neighbors or whatever. He's just funny, man. I really enjoy watching him. And yeah, I mean, he pissed his pants the first time, and then he does it again the second time, and he's like, "Come on, man!" And then the guy's like, the brother's like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "It's kind of my thing."
Yeah. But then the character completely flips, like when he turns into. But who knows?
He goes, "I think I smell shit." He goes, "Oh my god, did I shit my pants?" And I was just like, I don't know, man. Listen. I woke up at 5:30. I went to the gym. I came home. I was like 2 cups of coffee in. I'm watching this movie. Maybe it got me right at the best point of the day for me. I don't know. I thought this movie was funny.
Yeah, Eric's asking if you caught a Lost Boys reference at the end of the movie. I'm not sure I caught that. It's been a minute since I saw Lost Boys. I feel like it's gonna be added to our list for Halloween coming this year.
It will be for this year. I'm a big fan of the Lost Boys, and Eric, I'd like you to type in what the Lost Boys reference was, because was it the line that Snoop Dogg said? No, it couldn't have been, because at the end of the movie, this is why I love LA. It's full of vampires on, but I don't remember what Eric, let us know what the Lost Boys reference was.
And shout outs to the soundtrack is crazy. So I feel like Jamie Foxx definitely called in some favors. They had the Old Dirty Bastard track in there. They had like freaking Nipsey Hussle, like all kinds of wicked music for this.
Right. But then they had Ice-T's Body Count, right? From like his band Body Count. And I forgot, because there's a time when Ice-T decided to go. He was jumping on that rap rock train.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how stupid that main track is, because all he just says is body count, body count, body count.
I think they just picked that song based on the name of it, like
right. But that's the actual song, and just riffing on the guitar, and just him saying body count over and over again. I was like, oh yeah, right, yeah, all right.
Yeah, that was probably the weakest track, but. Pleasantly surprised by all the other tracks. All right, so we'll wrap up Day Shift, and I do hope they continue with something with it. I do like the world that they've built for it. There's a lot to explain. I don't quite get what the villain was doing, buying up real estate for vampires to all live in like a
that was pretty weak sauce.
In like a cougar town like cul-de-sac or something. I don't know exactly what they're doing. And what was so bad about these vampires? They were just inside playing video games. I guess they maybe should have shown them at night causing terror or something.
And I guess these vampires, I mean, they're strong in their fighting skills, but I guess they're not strong enough to break metal, because that one dude got buried. Remember, he was under the in the house, and they were pouring the concrete, and she's like, maybe we'll dig you up in 100 years. And I'm like, wow, man, that's brutal, bro. Like,
that's kind of terrifying. That's what was that movie, Old Guard? Where they're trying to like figure out ways to torture the girls that can live forever. But so
go ahead.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Eric mentions that the line that Rob was referring to is is the line from Lost Boys. So stay tuned for Lost Boys. We're gonna put it on in October. I think 100% we got to do it.
Yeah.
Shopping around October ideas.
So, and again, the last thing I want to say is that you could tell that a lot was kind of lifted from the John Wick stuff. Like the Union is very much just like the Continental.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like, with the switchboards and everything. Like it was just, whatever. But man, listen, I know that Scott did not like this movie. I know that some people, they were kind of iffy on it. I say it's a 2 hour, it's just shy of 2 hours. If you have got nothing else going on, you just want to throw on a really fun flick that you literally, like Scott, I'm surprised you didn't like it because you watched The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Like that's turn off the brain entertainment. That's what this movie is. You could just lie on the couch, watch this movie, and pass your 2 hours. I think you're better spent doing it for this movie than say, I don't know, the Resident Evil TV series that is no longer coming back.
Yeah. I just think it could have been streamlined a little bit, and they could have kept things a little bit simpler if they're planning on building up a world. But if this is it, then this is it. And not bad for the, like you said, the budget. If it's a 100 mil or something like that, yeah, that's pretty low. And it did look hella nice, and there were some really creative ways of vampire slaying that we wish could be transported into some of our favorite movies. So I'm pretty sure I haven't watched that original Buffy movie with Luke Perry, and I forgot who the female star was.
Christy Swanson.
Yeah, in a million years. So I'm pretty sure they did not get that creative and crazy with their vampire slaying. So well played, Scott.
Thanks. So that's it. That's day shift. That's the day shift. I'm all right with it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, shout outs to, do you remember what your favorite kill would be from the entire segment? Eric mentions the TV falls on the guy's head, and then Jamie Foxx kicks it and the guy's head gets severed, which I believe was in the trailer. They had to sell it. I remember at one point the contortionist who's on top of the Franco character, Seth, right? I think his name was Seth. And she's like hitting him with, I don't know what it was, a monitor or a piece of wood or whatever. And all of a sudden the hole breaks through it. And she reaches through the hole and starts grabbing him and pulling him into the, like banging his head into the, whatever this thing was. I think it was a monitor or something. I laughed at that. I was like, that's pretty funny. That's really clever who came up with that. And I want to know if it was like on a storyboard or when they were doing it, they were just like, oh, you know, it'd be funny if you grab this prop.
Yeah,
and reach through it and pull him into
Franco's
it.
holding it himself, and he's just he's hammering.
So there was some really creative stuff. I feel like those action scenes. Yeah, maybe I'm not giving enough credit to those action scenes. If you go back and rewatch those, they did a lot of fun stuff in there. So I think I really like. We've come a long way from stunt kind of wire work and all that kind of stuff to what their ability to do now. It's crazy. Yeah. So Sarah says Samaritan is greater than Day Shift. So we'll have to add Samaritan to the watch list and see which one we like better.
Yeah. Cool. So that's it. Thanks everybody who took the time to watch it, whether you were at home, whether you were on the train, whether you were at work, whether you were in the midst of delivering babies and happened to say, hang on, Mrs. Smith, I can't, you can just wait for one more contraction. I'm in the middle of watching Jamie Foxx kill vampires. Thank you for watching the Day Shift with us. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that, John.
Yeah. All right, so look forward to more. If they ever run it back, we're 100% going to see it. How's it rank in your Netflix rankings before we sign
Yeah,
off?
I don't know. I mean, we got to go back. There's so many damn Netflix movies, but I feel like since Extraction a couple years ago, I feel like they're actually there's more positives than there are negatives. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they're really kind of,
at least if there's a gem in there, then I'm gonna try it when it comes out. So I didn't watch that new Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg one yet.
No, I still haven't seen The Man from Toronto either.
Yeah, I tried. I couldn't get through it. And if anyone got through that, let me know if it's worth the effort. But yeah, so we'll see what goes with that. So Rob, next week is a long weekend, so I think we're gonna take a little break.
Yeah, we're taking I know John was like, what? No, but I'm like, dude, it's a long weekend. It's a Monday. all the kids and teachers out there are going back to school the following day. So I thought we're going to take the weekend and enjoy it with our families, or, with cases of beer, however you want to celebrate your Labor Day weekend. And we are going to be back on September the 12th. And John, we don't have a homework movie per se, so that's for homework, but you have a pretty good idea. Are we going to drop that idea now, or are we going to wait for so?
Yeah. I want to throw it out there just so we can come back and have some fun with it. But Top Gun Maverick did drop on streaming August 20th, like this week, basically. It dropped on streaming this week. And it brings into the question, is it the best sequel, like the best number 2 movie out? So we want to talk about your favorite sequels. And these sequels may or may not be better than the originals. We're talking Terminator 2, Rob? Aliens? Godfather 2?
My son and I started, The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Terminator 2. Is the sequel often better than the original? So so take the time. We're going to be off for an extra week, so give you some extra time to watch your favorite sequels, so we can talk about them and talk about which were the best, and of course rewatch Top Gun Maverick. I can't wait to rewatch that one. Rob, are you gonna purchase it on digital, or are you gonna wait for it to drop on 4K?
Dude, that's a really long wait time. So as you said, it's on digital right now. In Canada, it's $24.99. And then it drops on Blu-ray and 4K discs in November. So I might have to pull that trigger and double dip. I might have to grab it.
It's a long enough gap that you're good that you want to watch it once in the middle somewhere. So I feel like that was their strategy. That you will and buy digital to satisfy the rewatch, and then you will order your DVD or Christmas or whatever. We're gonna talk about all these movies. So start making a list, folks. Start making a list of your favorites, your favorite sequels. I don't know if Critters 2 is going to be on there. What about Tremors 2? Was Tremors 2 better than Tremors 1? Maybe we'll talk about the sequels that didn't work. Some people like Bad Boys 2 better than Bad Boys 1, and I say that as blasphemous.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure Rob is on that train, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No, Bad Boys 2 is a long-ass movie, man. Bad Boys Too Long is what it is. We're
what you gonna do too long for you?
We're looking forward to having this discussion, because you start to actually think about all these sequels to movies that have come out, and you're like, holy shit, right? And before, the only conversation was where the sequel was better than the original movie was 4 movies: Terminator 2, Aliens, Terminator 2, Aliens, The Godfather, and Empire. Those were the only 4 movies that were ever talked about where the sequels are better. But as we've progressed in the amount of movies that we have and everything else, that list has exponentially expanded upon, including, like I just referenced before, Blade 2 was much better than Blade 1. So
I don't know about that. But anyways, start watching those sequels, folks. Watch the sequels. Have some fun. Let us know. Send us if you're on our socials. Get at us. We got our Twitters down there. Hit us with your favorite sequels. A lot of people are shouting out Back to the Future 2. Yeah, we watched Back to the Future 1 as one of our movies on Monday. So we never got around to Back to the Future 2. So maybe that's something we should get around to. Iron Man 2, I don't know about that, Scott, but
nope. I think you're out on your own on that one.
No,
yeah.
But let us know. Let us know what you're watching. And I hope you guys enjoy the long weekend. We will have some other content in the meantime. And you never know. Maybe I've got a board game or 2 up my sleeve, and maybe we'll fill in some of the gap in between the weeks with y'all. So Rob, thank you. Always a pleasure. Great to see you, man. Please put on some sunblock. I worry about your skin. It keeps me up at night.
And everybody go to Heroes World. Pick up these omnibuses, man. I'm telling you. I saw the stack that John has. All these wicked. I almost bought like 2 or 3 more. And again, my son was like, So,
add it to your Christmas list. You gotta drop the hints. Think of Heroes World when Christmas comes around, or at least hit me up, and hopefully I can come up with some suggestions for you. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you all joining us. So we are going to sign off for tonight.
Yep.
And we will see you all again very soon.
Sounds good. See you guys. Bye, John.